A giant shark terrorizes the good people of Paris in this new Netflix shark movie called Under Paris. Is it worth your time? That's what we're going to discuss now. Let's get into it. So welcome back to the channel, everyone. And yeah, I've been looking forward to this film. I saw a trailer for it. I like shark movies. This is a French movie, but it is on Netflix UK, and you can watch it in a dubbed version, or you can watch it in its original version with subtitles. It's rated TV MA with a runtime of 1 hour and 41 minutes. Comes as directed by Xavier Gens. I have no idea. Okay, but it's about a giant shark in the River Seine. There's a triathlon, a world triathlon about to take place. Is it safe for these swimmers to go into the water? So this film here opens. It opens, and we've got a scientist by the name of Sophia, and she's working in the Pacific Great Garbage Patch, where they're documenting sharks, and one specific shark that they had tagged 2 years prior. And when they come across this shark, it's massive. It's about 7 meters in length, and it should be nowhere near that size. Why has it grown so big? That is the question. The only thing is her team, her husband on the team, they all get eaten by said shark, and she nearly dies herself. We then jump forward, present day. In Paris, luckily, where she's working. She's French and she works in Paris. And luckily this shark itself has made its way to Paris. How convenient is that? But anyway, she gets kind of called out of retirement to by these activists who have logged on to the tracking information for her shark, and they know her shark is now in the River Seine. And these activists want to help this shark get back out to open waters before it dies. Only obviously people are being killed, and she comes in to help with the police, the river police of Paris, to find out what's going on. They don't believe that there's a shark until they do believe that there's a shark, and the film just spirals into ridiculousness thereon. It's a fun film. It's a stupid film. It's got some decent effects. It's got some ropey effects. What do you expect from a shark movie? Now, to be fair to this film, okay, the film itself, it looks okay in parts. Some of the special effects with the sharks are pretty good. It doesn't hide the sharks. It does a pretty good job of showing them in their entirety all the way through the film. Some of these effects work, some of these effects don't work. The film pretty much hits by the numbers what you expect from a shark movie. You know, you've got, you know, the mayor of Paris, you know, the mayor of Amity, wanting this triathlon to go ahead. You know, this sort of a thing, ignoring the fact that there's a killer shark. No, the triathlon must go ahead. We cannot not have that happen, kind of an attitude. What you come to expect from bureaucrats in these sort of films. And these people, no, there's a shark. You know, it's oversized shark that's now able to swim in fresh water. It's not a bull shark, it's a mako shark. Only then it turns out not to be a mako shark. As the film progresses and spirals into this ludicrousness, like I said that it does, more and more silly things start to happen. The film starts off pretty well with a decent setup, a decent idea. Forget the fact that, like I said, the shark comes to Paris. She happens to be in Paris and French herself, which is convenient considering she came. It's all happened at the Great Pacific Garbage Patch at the beginning of the film. The shark hasn't followed her for a reason. It just happens to be there. But the shark isn't a mako shark. It's a new breed of shark, a species that they've not come across before, a species that can self-produce without having a male. And thusly this leads to the fact that there are actually hundreds of sharks, baby sharks, but they're big. Do you know what I mean? They're like standard shark size, smaller than this big shark, but, you know, and it all leads to this extremely ludicrous ending where these shells go off, these old wartime shells that are stuck in the bottom of the river, which conveniently some of them are found at the beginning of the film as one of the biggest Chekhov gun moments in film history. You know that's going to come into play at the end of the film, and these all go off. All these shells go off. They start blowing up the bridges of the Seine, and they cause a flood. All this water comes out of nowhere with a tsunami that floods the whole of Paris, and you've got all these sharks swimming around Paris, and the film kind of ends there. Seriously, this tsunami comes out of nowhere. It's like, where's this come from? You know, I don't get how that happened. Right, I know there's aqueducts and this sort of a thing, but this water just comes out of nowhere after these bombs go off, the bridge is destroyed, and we end up with the whole of Paris flooded with loads of sharks swimming around it. It's stupidness, but it's fun stupidness. Now, I watched the dubbed version of this movie. I made a mistake. I watched the dubbed version, and it was awful. You know, some of the acting, the voiceover acting was horrendous. You know, I wish I'd watched the version with the subtitles. That's how bad this version was. But it's a fun time. It's a fun movie. I've seen far worse shark films. I've seen far better shark films. It's a very middle of the table kind of shark film. It's not a film that I would revisit again, unfortunately, which is a shame, because had it not turned into this complete over-the-top ludicrous end, the film may have warranted a rewatch at some point, but it becomes so stupid in what it does that I can't forgive the ending of the film. But I'd still advise you to watch it if you like shark movies. It's not bad. It's just middle of the table. Not something I would necessarily own in the collection. Not something I would consider giving a rewatch. But for a one-time watch, it was all right. I can't complain. I can complain, and I have complained. Middle of the table. Middle of the table.